Hi,
Hi,
this is Katie Proctor, the owner of BwP Picks here in Portland, Oregon.
and this is writer and critic Douglas Wolk.
And we've got a few comics this week that are brand new that we're really excited about.
Hey, there's a new Black Panther book.
There's a new Black Panther book, and it's amazing and mysterious and weird. It's by Ta-Nehisi Coates and Daniel Acuna, and it's called The Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda.
So I want to start by asking a question. You may not know, viewer, about Douglas Wolk, that he has read all 27,000 Marvel superhero comics.
I have.
So, for real, he's writing a book about it.
Yeah.
So when I got to the end of this book and felt relatively confused, my first response was, hey Douglas, what's the continuity I'm missing that would make this Marvel Black Panther comic book #1 Galactic Wakandan Empire make more sense?
And I said, well, Katie, there's a little bit at the end of Secret Wars where Wakanda is about to go into space, but that doesn't really account for the fact that as of the beginning of this comic, Wakanda has had an intergalactic empire for 2,000 years, and all of a sudden we're getting all of these characters with very familiar names turning up, and Storm's sort of turning up in a vision, and it's in outer space and apparently 2,000 years in the future, and what is going on here? We don't know, but I can't wait to find out.
It's so good.
It's super, super good and interesting, and there's sort of a one-man outer space slave revolt situation going on. It's super exciting. It is distinctly Black Panther-y. It is distinctly not what we have expected from Black Panther up to this point, and it's super exciting.
Yeah, it's a totally different direction for the Coates run. I think it owns that #1 on the cover by a lot. It's a new story. It's a very different story. It's great. The art by Daniel Acuna is
Gorgeous.
outstanding.
Just absolutely every single page. He did the colors too, and it's all this sort of beautiful, beautiful painted effect.
And I was just thinking about, like, one, the action scenes are great, and there's a lot of very wordless, very physical action. But also, he designed an entire space empire. The art is out of this world. Sorry.
It happens. It happens. In a completely different vein this week, we have Lumberjanes #50.
Okay, so I wanted to do Lumberjanes 50 because it is a double-sized anniversary issue, and it is adorable and super fun, and we haven't talked about Lumberjanes before in our reviews, and when I said I want to do Lumberjanes, Douglas said,
I kind of don't get Lumberjanes, and I want to get Lumberjanes. Like, I don't really understand what's up with it. It's clearly very special in a way that I don't yet get.
So for me, Lumberjanes is amazing because it is all these really wonderful characters interacting and figuring out problems, and I care a lot more in Lumberjanes about the choices of the characters that develop them as people than I care about any kind of overall plot.
Yeah, like a lot of this issue is devoted to basically a hyper Settlers of Catan game that a bunch of the characters are playing.
Yes, which is clearly taped together pieces of paper, includes the part pieces from mini games including Monopoly and Trivial Pursuit, and eventually expands to cover several tables. And one of my favorite moments in it is, so it's sort of, it's like a Calvin Ball board game situation. And there's a moment where somebody rolls an action that produces dinosaur rain, and dinosaur rain is when you throw a bunch of plastic dinosaurs onto the playing board and see what happens. It's delightful. Simultaneous to that, some of our other friends are stuck in some tunnels and quite lost and fighting giant bugs. And then the second story in the book involves one of our more recently introduced adult characters who turns out can shapeshift into a bear.
That happens.
Lumberjanes #50, 50 issues of Lumberjanes plus two novels. The second one is out a couple weeks ago by
Mariko Tamaki. It's great.
If you're not reading Lumberjanes, and in particular you have a person under 15 in your life, it's so good. So, happy birthday, Lumberjanes.
Also, it is always a holiday around here when there's a new issue of Love and Rockets. maybe my favorite all-time ongoing comic, Gilbert and Jaime Hernandez, who they've been doing this since like 1981, 1982, and they just keep getting better. It's so amazing to see.
So explain Love and Rockets.
Explain Love and Rockets. There's a lot to explain there. So Gilbert and Jaime Hernandez are brothers. They have been doing the series forever. They don't do it together. Each of them does their own separate stories. They appear next to each other. They complement each other well. This is Maggie Chascarrillo. She's been one of the protagonists of Jaime's story since the beginning. We have gotten to watch her age in real time over the past 30-odd years and see where her life has gone and what she's become and how her circle of friends has changed. And it's, as a person who has also been aging for the past 30-odd years, and who has grown up like reading this for not quite all that time, but kind of a lot of that time, it's amazing and beautiful to see. And Gilbert's stories are weird. They're mostly about members of an extended family. Right now he's concentrating on a younger woman named Rosie who has some relatives who have done some like weird B movies and things and is wandering through a giant mansion, and maybe she's looking at pictures of them, or maybe she's seeing movies.
So the premise is porn star mom
Yeah.
Leaves town and says, "Don't watch any of my movies without adult supervision," and she does, and then assures her mom, ex movie star mom, it's okay. She never has any interest in watching my movies. And then the rest of the episode is watching. Episode is the wrong word. Issue is watching her think about her mom's porn.
And also seeing some of a movie in which her mom spends the entire movie inside a spacesuit.
Yeah.
It's a strange sort of like creepy sci-fi B movie, and it's these little pieces of this world that they've been building for 35 or so years, and they keep adding up and they keep getting more resonant. And on the last page of this one is one of Jaime's stories, and there's a band called Ape Sex that has been around since the very early days. I think Hopi Glass, another one of his longtime characters, might have played bass in them for a while. And it's one of the characters we haven't seen in decades, like wandering through a supermarket, hearing them playing on the sound system.
It's one of those things that happens when you start getting old.
It really is. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week.